My name is Kate Lemley. I'm from Alma, Maine, and here is my semester reflection. CSG has impacted me in ways that I cannot measure. I imagine it will be the little things that add up, so only after I leave will I truly see how much this experience has impacted me. Words that seem to embody my experience at CSG are independence, confidence, community, powerful, trust, passion, love, and friendship. I came to CSG as a whirlwind of personality, passion, and clumsiness. So much that my nickname here is Hurricane Kate, the unfortunate circumstance of falling downstairs and knocking over chairs. Many of the same values I embodied before CSG have followed me here. CSG has not eliminated any, more of every idea, passion, and value that I own has been lit on fire. And I use the word passion a lot because this is something that is beyond important to me, not only at CSG, but for my growth afterwards. Because to me, CSG embodies a passion that I feel for life, for education and learning and friendship and joy and changing the world. My passion for and at CSG is the love for the community I have here. I clearly remember on only the second day of school, falling on my butt on the icy ground, and the girls around me laughing, like we've known each other for years, and this has only grown. These girls are my best friends, and I love every one of my teachers, RAs, staff, and peers so incredibly much. At Lincoln Academy, my high school, I took advantage of every opportunity life threw me. Sports, music, extracurricular activities. I always felt incredibly passionate, whether I was eloquently debating the concepts of our criminal justice system or playing the heartbeat of a jazz song on my bass guitar. However, at CSG, I feel like I can impact the world with what I have learned. I've always wanted to be someone who changes the world, impacts it, and CSG has not only given me the opportunity, but the ability to do that. I remember writing a found poem in English and being swayed by the very words that I wrote. That was just one of many moments that I said to myself, wow, look what I have done and look what I have created. I felt that the very words that flowed from my pen would be the same ones that could impact the world around me. The education system at CSG is one of the things that has impacted me the most, and I wish this opportunity could be received everywhere. One of our first classes at CSG involved watching a video on how schools kill creativity. And how do schools kill creativity? Well, the fear of failure, an education predicate on academic ability, industrialization of the system, and what kids are good at is not valued. CSG embodies everything that is creative, but I wish the entire world to live in a system where education is about learning, not just school. Because learning how to have a conversation with somebody in a different language is different than memorizing words for a vocab test. Learning is joy. Learning is joy. Joy in knowing that something new can be spread out into the world. Learning is experience. The acceptance that everyone learns differently and embracing that. Learning is experience. The acceptance that everyone learns differently and embracing that. We must change our education system back to what it was originally intended for, learning. However, I must take back that statement because we must change our education system entirely. Because the basis of our education system, at least in Western civilization, is founded upon the Industrial Revolution, and the same bells that make us switch classes are the correlate to the shift bells in factories. We ship kids in and out of school like products on a conveyor belt, so useless information is poured into our brains and forgotten as we move through the barriers of our school. The barriers of grades and discrimination, biases in the system itself. Because now when I go to my high school, I don't feel the same joy as I did in middle school of learning with my hands of mummifying chickens and building wigwams. Because now, school involves sitting in a barren white classroom that reflects the drone of my teacher's voice echoing across the hall. And at my high school, I get through school because I find learning in my system. I find the teachers who impact me, and I make what I have. And I have the drive to get what I need from my school, but sometimes I cannot push myself enough, and my school won't push me. So why do we need to focus on standardized test scores and GPAs? Because for how many years has the world known that not everyone is a good test taker? How can we justify that filling in bubbles parallels my intelligence? Because I have not a number on my SAT score, or that number on my grade on the right-hand corner of my test. The test I took even though I was too tired and sick to go to school, but I did anyway because there was so much pressure to perform. So much pressure. And I am not a number, so don't you dare define my worth by a number that I received one day and didn't receive the next. A person's life is not defined by those numbers. It is their values, their actions, their words, and their history. So when our education system revolves around numbers and grades, I get so frustrated. I find myself focusing and stressing on so much on the grades, and I know it shouldn't matter. But in a system where grades are valued over learning, my resistance seems futile. My classes are filled with Eurocentric viewpoints where society and government has stretched their fingers in, infiltrated the system of our education, so conditioned power and biases, and I always need to question, what am I actually learning? American history. Columbus was a hero. We deserve to take the land from the Native Americans. America, land of the free. Stop infiltrating my education with lies. Can school ever be actually about learning and not preconditioned biases that manipulates our societal viewpoints? How can we solve our education system? Every child deserves to learn when they go to school, to learn and not to memorize, not for the role to revolve around a single grade. We need to reconsider what school actually is and how real learning and real education can make all the difference in the world. Learning enlightens the mind. It branches your brain into an abstract snapshots of opportunities. Learning is powerful, so why don't we learn in school? But I learn at CSG. I learn passionately and furiously to such an extent that I am giving and receiving at high velocity, so my brain is exploding with new ideas. And I learn at CSG. I travel to beaches to learn about their erosion. I speak in Spanish every day. And I travel outside to have classroom discussion. I learn at CSG. Perhaps the greatest reason for this other joy is the joy. Perhaps the greatest reason for this is the other joy in the teaching of my teachers. I have never had such a large collective group of individuals teach their subject with so much joy. Because when my science teacher is ecstatic about the new file on the keto nav, education reflects that same joy. My teachers are teaching what they love, so my classes at CSG are filled with activities and ideas that enlighten my brain, and I learn at CSG. Our education leads to our societal biases and discrimination, and in fact we face inequality every day. Gender, race, socioeconomic differences. At CSG, through amazing classes like gender studies and history, I've learned about the discrimination of women of all races and sexual orientations throughout history, and even today. My knowledge of this said inequality grew after coming to CSG, calling to my attention the oppression women feel all over the world, from wage inequality, sexual violence, to our own rape culture. Gender studies gives a platform for many fields that I feel passionate about discussing. Our prison systems, racism, inequality, sexism. And I feel empowered to do things back at home, to give platform for the discussion of such topics. In regular school, no one talks about the school-to-prison pipeline. And I wish at my hometown to unlock such topics where they can be discussed freely, and platform to understand our society in a more complete way. Because there's honestly nothing like that back home. I want other people to have the same experience, to open their eyes to the reality of the world. I'm proud to call myself a feminist, defined as a person who believes in the social, political, and economic quality of women. And I thank CSG for giving me the confidence to claim that. Giving me the confidence to claim that. The confidence that I am who I am. I am brought up in a world of change and innovation, where the same hands that create destruction are also the same hands that create beauty and creativity. And while it may seem obvious the entirety of individuals should run the whole world, they do not. Instead of the honesty and love I grow up with, we seem to be shot in a world filled with personal interest and self-gain. Perhaps the problem is we lack individuality, how society seems to be trying to put us in cookie-cutting molds, trying to change us, to control us, dissipating the uniqueness of independence, leading us into inequality and our own voicelessness against the acts of racism, sexism, and discrimination. The corporate control that has filtered out originality, only wishing of their monetary interests rather than their own consumers. And perhaps it is our consumer society that needs to buy and buy and buy. Perhaps it is us. The very laws that were meant to protect us discriminate instead. The very education system that is supposed to be the fire and power for our generation is wrought with biases and industrialization. The very world we own our lives to, we are destroying. And I live in a world of contradictions that I feel like myself I am just opening my eyes to. The illusion of reality that I feel like the world is blind to, of the masquerade we live in, and the hopelessness that seems to surround us at times. And though we lack the understanding occasionally to change, we have the ability to be empowered and stand. I am an individual who's connected to the entire world, and we are all individuals. So break back the biases and change that society has thrown over our heads, the underlying roles that hold us back, because we are one unifying force. Perhaps the most important thing CSG has given me is the absolute confidence to see and make a positive difference in the world. I came to CSG knowing who I was, but CSG has just exemplified every value that I own. My core desired feelings of passion, love, gratefulness, confidence, and impactfulness, SG have been empowered. When I go back to Lincoln Academy, I know that I will not only change how I perceive the world, but I will change it. The people around me have impacted me beyond words. My teachers have opened my eyes to the world through education and passion. My RAs and head resident have been my standing four moms, and without their support and encouragement, I think every one of us would be a little bit more crazy. And finally, every single girl here at Semester 9. I have a brother, but I do not have a sister. But after the 4 months I have been here, I now have 13 wonderful and amazing sisters. I have cried on these girls' shoulders, and they have cried on mine. And I have laughed for hours on end, from daily conversations at dinner to pretending to be slimy slugs. We have discussed topics to such an extent that I have never done so with peers before, and I honestly do not know what I will do without them, because every one of them means the world to me. They have journeyed through this amazing experience, from sleeping on the edge of a cliff and falling asleep to the distant foghorn, or sitting on the floor of a bathroom and talking for hours. They have been there. CSG is not just a house that I am living in, it has been my second home. It's been a place where I am growing up passionately, surrounded by people that I love and who love me. And I know CSG has impacted me because I find the other need and passion to do something with my life, to go out and change the world. Because when I rant about societal inequality, I see such a powerful problem that needs to be fixed, and I know it must change, and I want to impact it. I have a million ideas exploding out of my head, and after CSG, I know I will be incredibly sad, because I am leaving behind an incredible experience and amazing people. But I am also ecstatic to put my foot out the door and make a difference in the world. Thank you, CSG, for giving me that ability to impact the world, and thank you for changing my life.